Good morning, Year 6. So today we're going to be looking at miles and kilometres. We're going to be recapping how we convert between them and answer some questions on those. So first of all then, we know that 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres. So what does approximately mean? Just take a moment to have a think. So approximately means almost, doesn't it? So 5 miles is almost as near to as possible 8 kilometres. So first of all, let's have a think. So what would we measure in miles or kilometres? Would it be length? Would it be capacity? Or would it be weight? That's right. We would measure length in miles or kilometres, wouldn't we? Fantastic. So when might we need to convert between miles and kilometres? So, for example, if I said I have walked 5 kilometres, why would I need to convert to miles maybe? So these are just a few that I've thought of. So if you're traveling by car in Europe, they use kilometers per hour, whereas we use miles per hour. So if you're driving, you might need to be able to convert between miles and kilometers to know what their speed limits are. And another one that I've thought of is if you're running in a running event or maybe cycling in a cycling event, you might need to convert between miles and kilometers. For example, when I go for a run, I measure how far I've gone in miles, but if I wanted to enter a running event, most of them are measured in kilometers, aren't they? So, for example, if you're running a 10K, you're running 10 kilometers. If I know that 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometers, how can I work out 15 miles in kilometres? If I've got 5 miles, approximately, so when we do approximately, our equal sign is a bit wonky because that means approximately, because it means that it's not exactly 8 kilometres, but it's as good as. So 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres. So I've got 15 miles, and I want to know how much it is approximately in kilometres. So I'm going to work out what have I done to 5 to get 15. Well, I've multiplied it by 3. Okay, can you see that? 5 times by 3 is 15. So then if I want to know how much 8 kilometres would be equal to in 15 miles, I'm going to also multiply that by 3. So whatever you've done to one side, you do to the other. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that by 3. And 8 times by 3 is 24. So that would mean that 15 miles is approximately 24 kilometres. Okay, so first of all, work out what you've done to decide that you've got both numbers for. So in this case, I had 5 miles and 15 miles. I worked out that I'd multiplied 5 by 3 to get 15. And then you would do exactly the same to your other side. So I would multiply my other side by 3 as well. Have a go yourselves now then. So I would like you to convert the following into kilometres. So remember, 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres. So can you have a go at converting 35 miles, 20 miles, 60 miles and 55 miles into kilometres, please? Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so we're remembering that we have got both of our mile sides. So we've got 5 miles, first of all, and we've got 35 miles, haven't we? So we work out what we've done to 5 to get 35. So we've multiplied by 7. And then what we would do the same to the other side. So we would do 8 and we would multiply that by 7. And as you can see, the answer that I've put here is not quite right, so I should have checked this a bit more thoroughly, because 8 times 7 is 56, isn't it? So that would have been 56 kilometres. Okay, let's have a look at the second one then. So you've got 20 miles. So what do you do to 5 to get 20? Multiply it by 4. So you would do the same to your 8. So you'd do 8 times by 4, which is 32. 60 miles. You would work out, what do you do to 5 to get 60? Well, you multiply it by 12. Then you would multiply 8 by 12, which is 96. And your last one, what do you do to 5 to get 55? You multiply it by 11. So you would do the same to 8. So 8 times by 11 is 88. Check your answers with mine. Remember, the first one is actually 56 kilometres, not 48 kilometres. Well done if you got them correct. Let's have a look at another one then. So if 10 miles is approximately 16 kilometres, how would I work out how many kilometres 1 mile is? Okay, so 10 miles is approximately 16 kilometres, but I want to know what 1 mile is in kilometres. Okay, so I've got my miles again. I've got 10 miles and I've got 1 mile. So I want to know what I have done to 10 to get 1, and then I want to do the same to 16 kilometres. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, so 10 miles then is approximately 16 kilometres. So what do I do to 10 to get 1? I divide by 10. Okay, so 10 divided by 10 is 1. So I'm going to do the same to my other side. So I've got 16 kilometres. I'm going to divide it by 10, which is 1.6 kilometre. So 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometres. Well done if you got that correct. Let's have a look at this one. So it says fill in the missing numbers on the number line. So you've got your miles across the top and you've got your kilometres across the bottom. So you've got some filled in but some missing. Okay? So first of all then, I know that this is 5 miles. I already know my kilometres to miles conversion for 5 miles, don't I? Because it's up here. So if we put that one in first of all, so we've got 8 kilometres there. You should then be able to do this one on the left and this one on the right. Because if you have a look, 4 is half of 8. So because you've divided 8 by 2 to get 4, remember you do the same to your miles. So you divide 5 by 2 to give you your answer. And this way, you've done 8 multiplied by 2 to get 16. So you would do the same then for your 5 miles. Okay, so you'd multiply it by 2. This one here is slightly trickier, okay, because it doesn't give you either of your miles or your kilometres. But just have a think about it, because once you think about it, you should be able to do it. Okay? If you struggle with that one, maybe leave that one till last. Okay, because you should still be able to work out your 20 miles to kilometres conversion before you know this one. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, let's have a look at the answers then. So your first one is 2.5 because 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So then you've got 5 and you've got 8, which we already knew. Double 8 is 16, so you double your 5, which is 10. Then here we've got 15 miles, okay, because if you have a look, if you look at your equal spacings, it's going up in 5 miles, isn't it? Yeah, or it's going up in 8s here, isn't it? 8 kilometres. So you've got 15 miles, which is equivalent to, well, as near as 24 kilometres. Then your 20 miles is approximately 32 kilometres. Check your answers. Well done if you got that one correct. Let's have a look at another one. So a marathon is approximately 26.2 miles. So how far is this in kilometres? So remember, you know that 5 miles are approximately 8 kilometres. So you want to know how far 26.2 miles is in kilometres. Remember the method that we've been using? Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so if we have a look then, we know that 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometres. Okay, so to get 26.2 miles, we've multiplied 1 by 26.2. So we've got 26.2 miles is approximately 41.92 kilometres. Okay, because remember you do the same to this side, so you multiply 1.6 by 26.2. You could have also done it with your 5 miles. You could have done your 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres and done it that way. I found it easier to convert right down to 1 mile and 1.6 kilometres and work upwards from there. Well done if you got that one correct. Let's have a look at this one then. So this one's slightly more tricky because it's slightly more involved. So in the United Kingdom, the maximum speed on a motorway is 70 miles per hour. In France, the maximum speed on a motorway is 130 kilometres per hour. So which country has the highest speed limit and by how much? Give your answer in both units. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to underline all the important information in there. So you've got 70 miles per hour. So remember, it's miles here, not kilometres. Then you've got 130 kilometres per hour. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put them both in the same unit of measure, aren't we? So we're going to have to convert. So we want to know which country has the highest speed limit and by how much. So I've got two separate questions there. I've got which country has the highest speed limit, and then I've also got and by how much. So I'm going to take the first question first, which country has the highest speed limit, and then after I've done that, I will take the second question. Remember, you need to give your answer in both units. So remember, the first thing you're going to have to do is convert and put them both in the same unit of measure, but make sure you can convert to both. Pause the video now and have a go at that one. So remember, 5 miles are approximately 8 kilometres. So what we're going to do here then is first of all, we're going to change 70 miles into kilometres per hour. So 70 miles per hour to kilometres per hour. So what do I do to 5 to get 70? I multiply by 14. So I'm going to multiply 8 by 14, which is 112 kilometres. Okay? So now I know that our speed limit is 120 kilometres per hour and France's speed limit is 130 kilometres per hour. So I can answer my first question now. Which country has the highest speed limit? So France has the highest speed limit. Okay, so now I want to know by how much. Okay, so France has the maximum speed limit because they can go 18 kilometres faster and 11.25 miles per hour faster. Okay, so we've also here converted our 130 kilometres per hour to miles per hour so that then we can work out the difference between the two speeds. Check my answer with yours. Well done if you got it correct. So for the next question, we've got Whitney. So we've got to explain a mistake. So this is more of your reasoning style questions, remember. So you've got to explain it. So remember, you don't have to explain it in sentences as such. You can show it. So if 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres, then 10 miles is approximately 13 kilometres. So here's how Whitney has worked it out. So she's put 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres, and then she's worked out what she's done to 5 to get 10, she's added 5, therefore she's added 5 to 8 to get 13. So we need to explain Whitney's mistake. So remember, 5 miles are approximately 8 kilometres. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to pause the video and have a go at explaining Whitney's mistake, making sure you use your working out to support your answer. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so here's my answer. So Whitney has added 5 when really she should have multiplied by 2. So 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, therefore she needed to do 8 multiplied by 2, which is 16 kilometres. If you've got something similar to that, well done. Can you see how I've used my working out to support my answer? I've used 5 multiplied by 2 is 10 and 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. So this is our last question now for today. So let's have a look at it. This one again is slightly trickier, and I'll give you a clue that you probably could do to use a bar model to help you here. So Esther cycles 60 miles over 4 days. On day 1, she cycles 16 miles. On day 2, she cycles 32 kilometres. On day 4, she cycles twice as far as she does on day 3. How far does she cycle on day 4? Give units with your answer. So don't just look at this question now and panic. I know a lot of you will be doing, but just breathe and we'll break it down. So first of all, then let's find our important information. So Esther cycles 60 miles over 4 days. So that means that it takes her 4 days to cycle 60 miles. So on day 1, she cycles 16 miles. So look at your units here. On day 2, she cycles 32 kilometres. Okay, so look at your units here, they are different. You've got kilometres and you've got miles. On day 4, she cycles twice as far as she does on day 3. Okay, so how far did she cycle on day 4? Give units with your answer. You want to know how far she cycles on day 4. So if she cycles twice as far as she does on day 3, your bar model will look something like this. So that would be day 3 and that would be day 4. Okay. Obviously, you will have to put your numbers in there to work it out, and that's roughly something what it should be looking like. Okay, so remember you've got different units of measure here. You've got miles and kilometres. So the first thing that you are going to have to do is decide which unit of measure you are going to use and convert. Remember 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres. Please use that conversion. Pause the video now, please, and have a go. Okay then, let's have a look at our answers. So, on day 1, she cycles 16 miles. So I've written out the days so far. So she cycled 16 miles on day 1. Day 2, she cycled 32 kilometres, which I've worked out is equivalent to, or approximately, 20 miles. Okay, so what I have done there, I have added up how many miles we have travelled on day 1 and day 2. So on day 1 and day 2, we have travelled 36 miles because 16 add 20 is 36. So I've got 60 miles to cycle altogether over 4 days. So then I've done 60 minus 36, which has left me with 24 miles for the next 2 days. Okay, so for day 3 and day 4, altogether there are 24 miles left. So if we remember, on day 4 she cycled twice as far as she has done on day 3. Our bar model should look like this. Okay, so you've got 24 miles. What I did, I divided 24 by 3. Okay, because you've got twice as far on day 4 as day 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. And then because you've done twice as far on day 4, double 8 is 16. If we add those together, 16 and 8 is 24 miles. So on day 3, she must have cycled 8 miles, and then day 4, she must have cycled 16 miles. Well done today, Year 6. That was rather challenging. Speak to you.